Engineer Dr. Lee Bibo.
Question 30, please.
Mr. Speaker, may I have your permission to take questions 30 and 31 together?
Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, as the designated public postal licensee, SingPost is responsible for delivering letters on time and accurately. SingPost has to meet the Postal Quality of Service or QoS standards set by the Info Communications and Media Development Authority or IMDA for letter delivery. SingPost also provides other services such as advertisement mail and parcel delivery that are not subject to IMDA's Postal QoS standards. The recent lapses by SingPost involve services covered by the Postal QoS standards and those that are not. For letter delivery, the QoS standards are to deliver 99% of local basic letters destined for the Central Business District or CBD and 98% for those destined for non-CBD areas by the next working day, and 100% for all letters by the second working day. IMDA imposed a financial penalty of $100,000 on SingPost last week for failing to meet the QoS standards in 2017. SingPost has accepted IMDA's decision and committed to improve its service delivery standards, including its QoS performance, and IMDA is reviewing SingPost's performance for letter delivery in 2018. In 2018, SingPost received 91 complaints about misdelivered and lost mail. SingPost has investigated each complaint and has apologized to the complainant whenever there was a confirmed service lapse and redelivered mail that was found. IMDA has also reviewed its QoS standards for letter delivery and has decided to maintain them. Engineer Dr. Lee also asked about complaints relating to consumers receiving failed delivery notices even when there was someone at home. These pertain to the delivery of parcels and registered articles. 8 such complaints were submitted directly to IMDA in 2018 and 7 in 2017. SingPost is unable to provide the specific number of complaints it receives on failed delivery notices. Nonetheless, we believe that there are likely to be more incidents which were not formally reported. IMDA will pay attention to this area as well. It is now considering regulatory standards for the delivery of parcels and registered articles. SingPost's board and management agree with my ministry and IMDA that a thorough review of its operations and manpower has to be made, even as it takes immediate steps to remedy the service lapses. They have reaffirmed SingPost's commitment to prioritize improvements to service delivery standards and the welfare of its workforce. SingPost has already made a start by announcing measures such as extending parcel delivery to Saturdays, cutting back on advertisement mail delivery, and improving staff remuneration. Mr. Speaker, please allow me to make brief remarks on the issues of operations and manpower. SingPost has pointed out that the popularity of e-commerce has significantly increased the volume of parcels. As a result, it has to deliver 38,000 items daily, which cannot fit into letter boxes, and its postmen have to now conduct more deliveries for parcels. This works out to an average of 35 to 45 doorstep deliveries per postman per day in Singapore's urban landscape with many high-rise HDB blocks and condominiums, in addition to delivering letters to letterboxes. My ministry and IMDA are of the view that SingPost must make itself ready for this new operating environment. Next, on manpower. The work of the postman is labor-intensive and has become more so over the years. My ministry and IMDA are of the view that even as SingPost remedies its service lapses, its postal workforce should be treated fairly and be well equipped to perform their job. Where necessary, IMDA will provide support to SingPost in the training of postmen, delivery process re-engineering, deployment of technological solutions, and infrastructure upgrades to optimize its delivery process. It may take time before the gaps in SingPost's service delivery are fully addressed. The SingPost board and management know there is hard work ahead and have told us that they are committed to work together with my ministry and IMDA. Further regulatory action from IMDA can be expected as it reviews Singpo's letter delivery performance for 2018 and beyond, investigates infringements under the Postal Services Act, and considers additional regulatory standards.
Engineer Dr. Lee Biwa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I would like to thank SMS for her very comprehensive long reply. And I have 6 supplementary questions. I filed PQ in February 2017 here on frequently letters delivered to the wrong address. And since then, actually, the situation has got from bad to worse. Now, residents complaining not just addressed to the wrong address. Many complaints have been the letters that they expect never arrive. And the worst was towards the end of last year. That is why I filed a question again. My first question is, did Singpost foresee seasonal peak and the surge of e-commerce and plan for it? Why is it that it get much worse end of last year? Are there shortages of manpower? And if there is any study into remuneration package and welfare for postmen and other ground service staff? Because I noted that Singpost make profit of 42.2 million on operating activities. So did they do a remuneration package study? And second question is, there's only one postal service company in Singapore, and it is doing essential service. How to ensure that they are not complacent? Because this issue has been brought up in Parliament before. It's not getting better, but getting worse. So it shows that maybe they are complacent. And the third question, they are found, according to a report last week, to have many lapses in 2017. And failing short can result in a fine up to 50,000 a month for each indicator. My question is, why they will only fine $100,000? Is fine alone sufficient deterrence? And just now, as mentioned about regulatory requirement, I also read on several occasions Ministry had implied or mentioning revoking of license. I would like to ask, under what circumstances will the license be revoked? And is there any plan to issue more than one licenses so that there is competition? And perhaps they cannot cope. So perhaps they want to look into maybe more than one postal service provider in Singapore. And last but not least, this is the most important question. What action will be taken in general and Wee Sun Town in particular in order to bring back the trust and confidence of people? Thank you.
Engineer Dr. Lee mentioned 6 supplementary questions. I counted 5, but if I leave out any, you're welcome to ask again. I'm going to take your last question first, which is what actions for the residents of Yishun. Indeed, amongst the complaints that Singpost received and the ones that have been sent to IMDA last year, IMDA have noted that some of these complaints pertain to the Yishun area, and they have discussed with Singpost, and Singpost has redeployed 2 experienced postmen to cover the Yishun beats as of November 2018. And we hope that this will address at least some of the concerns, but IMDA will be monitoring this very closely. Engineer Dr. Lee has also asked about, in fact, I think the first question was also about the situation in Yishun end of last year, so I think we've addressed that. Then she has also asked about whether Singpost has planned for the seasonal peaks and what have they been doing to cope with the operating environment. And Mr. Speaker, as I have mentioned earlier, we believe that the operating environment, however it changes, that is the responsibility of Singpost to plan for it. Singpost have talked about seasonal peaks. They've also talked about the changing proportion of parcels to letters. And we are of the view that this is something which they, as the service provider and the operator, should plan for and ensure that their workforce are properly remunerated, properly trained and equipped to do this job. Now, as for the status of SingPost as a postal service provider, I believe the next two questions that Engineer Dr. Lee has mentioned pertain to this. Let me explain, Mr. Speaker. Under our current framework, we have one public postal licensee, that is SingPost. But they are not the only ones who are licensed to deliver basic letters. There are 4 in total. As the public postal licensee, what they need to do is, in addition to delivering letters, they have to maintain a set of universal service obligations. This includes, for instance, the maintenance of posting boxes. This includes, for instance, the issuance of stamps, and there is an obligation to deliver basic letters from and to anyone within Singapore. So that is what we call the USOs. Those are the obligations tied to being the public postal licensee. This does not mean they have a monopoly on the delivery of basic letter services. This segment of the market has also been opened up, as I explained. There are now 4 in total. As for the parcel delivery, this is also a very open and competitive segment. We have many companies that are doing parcel and door-to-door delivery. Engineer Lee Biwa has asked about the quantum of the fine and whether that is considered sufficient. First, allow me to explain that under the QoS framework, IMDA does have discretion to decide how much financial penalty to levy for each count of failing the QoS, and as described earlier in the main reply, there are several types of QoS that the public postal licensee has to abide by. In terms of determining the actual quantum per count, IMDA would take into account factors such as whether there are aggravating factors. For instance, has there been repeated failures? And also mitigating factors, for instance, whether or not the delay time, is it longer or shorter? We completely agree with Engineer Dr. Lee that relying on fines is not sufficient. As I've mentioned, regulatory action is ongoing. More can be expected from IMDA in the coming months. But very importantly, other measures also need to be taken. We are glad to see that SingPost has owned the issue and has announced steps in the right direction. For instance, by extending delivery hours, by relooking at remuneration for its workforce, and so forth. At the same time, the use of technology, I think, must continue. This is something that IMDA has been in constant discussion with SingPost on, and in fact, in previous years have also required SingPost to take on technological upgrade so that its postal workforce can do its job better. The next question that Engineer Dr. Lee has asked about, again, under who will get to deliver basic letters. So I think I've already covered that when I explained the overall framework. Thank you.
Speaker, my residents have also told me that they often don't receive letters even from my constituency office, so I'm also worried. With the increased popularity of this email, we know that very often we thought that slow mail will lose its popularity. But when you look at the financial report, annual report of SingPost, in the last financial year, 90% of the SingPost profit come from postal service. In other words, postal service is a cash cow of SingPost. So I want to ask SMS, is it a case where SingPost is under-investing in postal services while they try to take some of the money to diversify their business? Thank you.
I believe that Mr. Ang Wei Neng's question is also something that should be asked of SingPost by its shareholders, because after all it is a listed company, and I understand that these are also the issues that the shareholders rightly should hold SingPost to account for. In terms of under-investing, I shall not comment on this specific issue. However, I think we can also take cognizance of the steps that SingPost has talked about in terms of paying more attention to the postal workforce, in ensuring that the operations are right, in extending the delivery hours. So I think those steps that they have mentioned are indicative of what SingPost's own diagnosis of the problem is. However, IMDA will not stop here, and we will continue to work very closely with SingPost. We will also continue to monitor and regulate.
Mr. Nispo.
SMS, thank you for your comprehensive answer. I thought that while we are still waiting for that tech solution to deliver mail, such as using drones and so forth, I wonder if the ministry could consider or help to facilitate alternate delivery agents and systems. In our CDC, in Central CDC, we tried a drop mail system where we actually kind of employed senior citizens who are still healthy to actually drop mail in their localities. And we found that the outcomes were quite good in that the accuracy and the speed, was very fast. I think maybe better than SingPost, I don't know. But we didn't have the scale, the ability to scale it and so forth. But I thought there was a good potential there to create reliable delivery systems, employing the seniors. These jobs are maybe not that high skilled, but also graduates of special ed schools and others who may not be able to have other forms of jobs. So I wonder if ministry and other related agencies would be interested in helping us organize this so that we can scale this kind of system and create actually kind of interim jobs that might be meaningful and also provide opportunities to have better health and also some pocket money. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nispoa. I shall ask IMDA to work very closely with your CDC to understand this pilot scheme that you have started and to see how this can improve postal services. In terms of other solutions that you have asked, I would also like to take this opportunity to say that locker trials have started in 2 locations, in Bukit Panjang as well as in Punggol, under the Locker Alliance. And this is a trial that SingPost is also a part of to see whether there can be better solutions for the last mile delivery of parcels, which may be too large to fit into letterboxes.
Ms. Tin Pei Ling.
Thank you. I'd like to thank SMS for a very comprehensive reply and the assurances. Just have a question. This pertains to the timeline. So I understand that some time may be needed for SingPost to address the gaps, and also as MCI considers additional regulations. May I know if there's a timeline to both these 2 aspects? And in the meantime, what else might we be able to expect to ensure that the letter delivery performance will still be upheld? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tin. We make no assumptions as to how long this journey is going to take, but I can share at this moment that IMDA aims to release its decision with regards to SingPost 2018 letter delivery by the middle of this year.
Engineer Dr. Lee Biwa.
Thank you, sir. I would like to thank SMS for informing the House that 2 experienced postmen have been put in to serve the residents of Yishun Town. During my recent visit to SingPost Woodlands Distribution Centre, I came to understand that actually there are shortage of postmen serving in Yishun Town. There are supposed to be 40 over postmen, but they only have 30 plus. I would like to ask, when will the number of postmen be increased? Otherwise, they are overstressing those currently working, and that is why sometimes you find that there are other consequences. So that's one question. Second question, just now SMS mentioned about thorough review with SingPost. I would like to know, is there any timeline given? Because we don't want them just to overstress the postmen, the ground service staff, because I think they are overstressed, they work very hard. And I think SMS did not answer one of my questions just now. I asked, under what circumstances will the license be revoked? Thank you.
First, Engineer Dr. Lee Biwa has asked about staffing issues. I think that by announcing its plans to hire more postmen, SingPost is acknowledging that there are vacancies, and I believe it's not only restricted to Woodlands Distribution Centre. We believe that with SingPost's intention to also review remuneration for the staff, we hope that these vacancies will be easier to fill than they currently are now. In terms of the concern on manpower, indeed, we share Engineer Dr. Lee Biwa's concerns about the importance of maintaining the well-being of the postal workforce. And this is the reason why I think it is not just about tightening requirements and levying the penalties, but also monitoring very closely to ensure that, first of all, the workforce is adequately trained and prepared for the job that they have to do. So this is certainly a priority for my ministry and also for IMDA. Now, in terms of the circumstances under which the license for being the public postal licensee will be revoked. First of all, I want to state that we do need an operator to maintain the universal service obligations, because, as I've mentioned, it's not just about the letters, sending of the letters. It is about maintaining the posting boxes. It is about issuance of stamps. It's also about having somebody who undertakes to deliver and collect letters from anywhere in Singapore. So this has to be given, and I think that what we currently now have is a set of QoS standards to monitor the delivery of letters, but as I've mentioned, SingPost is not immune to competition here. So IMDA will be monitoring this very carefully. I do not think at this moment that the lapses in terms of the QoS standards are such that it warrants removing of the license. However, we are very conscious of the pain points that consumers have reported, including pain points concerning services that are not covered by the QoS, and this is the reason why IMDA is now also considering additional regulatory standards.